Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Stacy. This is going to be another August Reads video. I will probably have a third one of these coming out in a week or so, but I'm just trying to break up my reading wrap-ups, make them more into chunks, because I can't remember all the details that I want to remember when I add in too many books at once, so I'm breaking them up. So the books that I've read since my last reading wrap-up video, the first one is True Confections by Ruth Hartzler. This is an Amish cozy mystery. This was a murder mystery. This takes place in Pennsylvania. It's about a woman who, her husband comes to her and tells her he has a mistress. She's pregnant. He's leaving his wife. He's basically taking everything because they signed a prenup, and all of this is in the first chapter of the book. And so she ends up moving above the bakery that her sister owns, and her sister is Amish. Both of them grew up Amish, but she left the Amish and she became English. I think that's what they're called. But she moves in above her sister's bakery. And there's these two super old ladies who live there as well. So they all share the apartment together with the old lady's cat. And a murder happens within the bakery. And so everybody gets together to try to solve this murder. This book is super cheesy, super silly. It's pretty short. It's really easy to read, but I thought it was really cute, really fun. There's actually a lot of faith in this book, which I thought was great. And I liked the little bits of Amish information that you got sprinkled throughout it. They would tell you about certain dishes or certain customs that they had. And I just found all that to be really interesting, but it wasn't overly Amish, if you know what I mean. This is part of a series. There's 8 or 9 books in it, I think, and I'm just going to continue on with the series. I just think it's really cute, and yeah, it's not like a blow your mind kind of read or anything, but I really liked it. The next one that I read is A Gilded Lady by Elizabeth Camden, and this is book 2 in... It's not called the Spice King trilogy, but the first book was the Spice King, which I loved. And book 2 follows the main character. His name is Gray. It follows his sister Caroline as she's working in the White House in the early 1900s. And I gotta say, I loved book 2 just as much as I loved book 1. This one had such a great plot, storyline, a great romance. I learned a whole lot. It's one of those books that made me want to look stuff up, which is always a plus for me. I ended up doing a ton of research on the Secret Service because this book features the very beginnings of the Secret Service when it really wasn't even a thing yet, but the government recognized a need to be able to protect the president, and so it was created in a sense. So a lot of the book is within the early years of the White House, back when people off the street could just walk in and there was no security. Fascinating stuff. Also, I absolutely loved the main character, Caroline. Actually, y'all should go watch Lindsay's video. Lindsay read this book recently, and basically everything that she thought about this book and about Caroline, I agree 100% on. We are big fans of Caroline, so you should definitely watch her video because she's much more well-spoken than I am. And adorable. So if you read the first book, you'll know there's a third sibling, Luke, who is in some sort of trouble, and you get much more of his story in this book, and I was really glad that that portion was answered. Alrighty, next one I want to talk about is this one, The Letter from Briarton Park by Sara E. Ladd. I picked this up from the library recently. This is marketed as historical Christian fiction. It is published by Thomas Nelson, and it's definitely clean historical fiction, but I didn't think there was any faith elements in it, except there might have been a mention of prayer once or twice in here, but very, very minimal. That being said, I really, really like this story. This book gave me Jane Eyre vibes, which is one of my all-time favorite classics. It's about a girl who grew up in a school. She was basically an orphan, and she was raised at a school, and she became a teacher. And right before the headmistress of the school dies, she gives the girl a letter from a man who says he has information about her and that he wants her to travel to come see him. And then when she gets to his house, she discovers that he has passed away. So now she has to unravel this mystery of what was he trying to tell her about her past, about her family. And she gets involved with a man who owns a mill in the town, and he tries to help her solve this mystery of this letter that she was given. I really enjoyed this. I really liked her writing style. I liked the details that were given. I would say this is a really good book to read in the fall because of the setting of it and the mystery. So yeah, I've never read anything from Sara E. Ladd before, but I would pick up more books from her even if they're not really Christian. I thought it was pretty good. Next one I want to talk about is a nonfiction book called Christian Horror by Mike Daran. This one was outstanding. Y'all know that I come from this like horror-filled background, and I've been really struggling over the last few years over how to handle horror as a Christian, and things that I feel convicted I need to stay away from. It's been a difficult road for me to kind of put words to my feelings, but this book did such a great job of answering a lot of the questions that I've just kind of been stewing over for a while. It talks about how all through history the Bible and horror have been used hand in hand, and how God himself has used really horrific stories to teach us lessons and to show his grace and his mercy. It talks about how artists from hundreds of years ago would depict horrific scenes in their paintings or in their stories, like Dante's Inferno, and how we have really veered away from that as Christians in our current society, and how we really want everything to be like just full of happiness and love and things like that, but we shy away from the darker things. And he gives biblical reasons, and he used scripture to back up why we should be able to use horror for specific things. I really like how he gave arguments from both sides, how some people say this and some people say this, and here's why they're saying these things, and based on the Bible, this is what, these things mean. He also talks about how the Christian publishing world does not like to use the word horror, and I've noticed that because I actually had a conversation with somebody on Goodreads where I described a Christian book that I read as a Christian horror, and somebody kind of came at me with that, saying that that's not a thing, that doesn't exist, and you can't have horror and Christianity together. But that's really a much newer thing in the publishing world. Instead of books that would typically be called horror in the secular world, in the Christian world they're called suspense or thriller, just because Christians in general don't like the word horror, but they're still actually reading horror. So yeah, I found the book absolutely fascinating. I thought it was a great read, and I think if you are interested in the Christian genre at all, this would be a great book to pick up. Alright guys, that's all I've got for this video. Like I said, I will come back with another video for the last books that I read in the month of August. If you have any thoughts on these books, leave those down below. I hope you all have a great day, and I will see y'all soon. Bye!